And thank you for joining us for the Black Hills AI and Honu collaborative webinar, Honu, Navigating the World with Ease. Discover how Honu can optimize your IP law firm's foreign patent management. A recording of this episode will be made available on the Black Hills AI YouTube channel as well as the Black Hills AI website. Feel free to enter any questions using the Q&A feature in the Zoom menu. We invite you to follow us on LinkedIn and to visit the Black Hills AI website to learn about our other webinars. And now I will introduce our wonderful panel of speakers. Jim Hallenbeck is the president and CEO of Black Hills AI. Elliott Higgins is a computer scientist at Black Hills AI. Dr. John Collins, our guest speaker, is a chartered and European patent attorney and a chartered trademark attorney whose technical expertise lies in electronics and particularly in the field of software, internet, and business method patents, both in Europe and in the US. He has considerable experience of proceedings before the European Patent Office, including oppositions and appeals, and also has experience in litigation both in the UK and USA. During his practice of over 30 years, he has acted for many different clients on a wide spectrum of IP matters, ranging from prosecuting and managing extensive patent portfolios for corporations to guiding and assisting startup companies to develop the necessary valuable IP assets to build their business. And Adam Reece is the IP automation specialist lead at Black Hills AI and a Master of Science student at data science at the University of St. Thomas. His expected graduation is next month. Congratulations. All right, I'll turn things over to Jim.
Happy Thanksgiving week, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'll cover our agenda real quick, and then we'll just jump right in. So today we're going to just do a quick overview of what the foreign correspondence docketing challenges are. And we're going to then talk about what Honu is, and then we'll talk about how Honu works. Elliott will give us a quick demo of how Honu will flow through the screens and such. Then Dr. John Collins will give us an overview of the experience of his law firm using the Honu product. And then I'll quickly talk about the workflow and what flows through Honu for delivery to your firm from your foreign agents. And then we'll talk about how automated docketing can flow directly out of Honu. And that will be Adam giving us that, how automated docketing flows from Honu. So there'll be a few of us talking to you today, and thank you for joining us. So first off, our foreign docketing challenges. Traditional docketing practices, it's rare, but some still use physical files and paper-based tracking systems. This is definitely a step beyond that. But regardless of that, most firms still rely upon manual data entry of incoming correspondence into their systems. And they use manual verification processes. They manually handle each prosecution document, whether it be, clicking through PDFs or printing out documents out and so on, and then storing them to the appropriate place. It's heavily reliant on email communication. And from that flows the inevitable duplicate emails from foreign agents and the internal forwarding. Foreign agent sends it to maybe your docketing email, but also copies the attorney and paralegal. And each of those then forwarded on to docketing as well. And pretty quickly you have the document at least 2, 3, 4 times. Inconsistent data entry formats between docketers, duplicate data entry across multiple systems where you need to enter the data in one system, then you need to enter some data in another system, and maybe uploading documents to your document management system. And in some cases, you even need to dock it into your customer systems or your client systems. So duplicate data entry across multiple systems is just a productivity killer. It slows down progress and really makes things more expensive. So it also increases the delays in processing incoming correspondence, and you have limited or delayed visibility into the prosecution status. Honu addresses many of these, if not all. So these are also error-prone practices where even if you are getting them done efficiently, they're still highly susceptible to error. From manual deadline calculations, inconsistent naming conventions between documents, reliance on individual memory for complex procedures, lack of standardized verification processes, and so on. But more importantly, even delayed client report outs and delayed updates to your client records because of the inefficient and time-consuming processes to get data and documents into your systems and then get them into your client systems where necessary. So seeing documents and correspondence in a normalized manner to obtain normalized document and data sets. So that allows us to, these types of solutions that we're going to talk about enable automated data acquisition, automated docketing, automated verification of the docket once things are docketed, automated internal reporting to your attorneys and paralegals and such inside your firm, automated reporting to your clients, and automated cross-offs and de-docketing. A lot of opportunities. Each of those places where it says automation, that increases speed, increases accuracy, and decreases cost. So what is Honu? So Honu is a system that enables us to manage complex global IP portfolios. It can eliminate inconsistent reporting practices and terminology that complicates things. And a lot of time that was previously wasted handling duplicate notifications and reminders and follow-ups, we eliminate that. So Honu is a platform that enables reporting of IP correspondence through a dedicated portal for management in a simple, structured manner to obtain normalized data sets of the correspondence. Honu provides great efficiencies through elimination of multiple manual steps and provides opportunities for automation. The benefits flow directly from this. The processing of incoming foreign correspondence and therefore docketing is standardized. Redundant communications are eliminated. Foreign agent workflows are simplified because they are able to upload documents and identify them for you as they send them across in a very streamlined, adaptable interface. And they're sending only docketing correspondence that would result in docketing through that portal. All other communications flow through standard channels such as email or phone calls. That would be emails and phone calls such as attorney to attorney communications for proposed claim amendments and such, and questions about references and so on. All of those would still flow through their normal channels. It's only the docketing, the reporting out of things, correspondence received and documents filed that would flow through Honu. So you can significantly increase your docketing turnaround time because you're eliminating a lot of redundant non-docketing communications from your docketing workflow. This also enables you to achieve higher quality docketing because when your data is standardized, you're able to eliminate, not only duplicate correspondence that adds, further pressure on your docketing team, which can increase errors, but you're receiving the due dates and such, and the dates from which due dates are calculated as input, which the system itself can then validate by processing the documents with automated processes. So the Honu output is a normalized data set. And, I'm kind of hitting on a lot of these same themes here, where we're going to reduce or eliminate touching of correspondence documents, standardize data formats to enable predictable, reliable, and accurate processing. There's going to be a consistent representation of dates, names, reference numbers, procedures, document indexing, and storage schemes. And, think about the dates, from one country to the next, what comes first in one country in a date is not necessarily the same as another. Is the month first, or is the day first? Well, we're able to eliminate that by controlling how the data is input and received. So we have structured formats for attorney and inventor information, uniform deadline calculation rules, and consistent logical commenting. All of these things can be used to match your standards, your processes, and your procedures with the capabilities of your IP management system and its application programming interfaces. So when you synchronize your technology stack and how the data is received, processed, input, stored, and extracted, you're able to increase the accuracy of your systems. You just align each piece with the next piece that it needs to talk to, and things get much more efficient and accurate and seamless. So the benefits of these normalized data sets, as I've been talking, are enhanced data accuracy, system integration is significantly improved. This results in improved efficiency and improved quality control. And generally speaking as well, it is a decrease in cost, not just because things can be processed more efficiently, but also reduction of errors and an increase in quality enables you to reduce exposure when there are errors. And that exposure can be, direct costs such as extension of time fees, having to compensate clients for, any errors, but also opportunity cost. The fewer errors you have, the more likely you are to keep your client for a longer period. So don't discount the opportunity cost of increased accuracy in your back office. So the next step here is how Honu works. I have a few more slides here, and then we'll go to Elliott for a demo. So we'll talk about this real quickly, how Honu works. So manually, we're going to translate normalized data sets to docketing. Manual effort is significantly reduced by eliminating duplicates of correspondence, as I've mentioned. Manual docketing, if your team is still going to do manual docketing from the Honu, the Honu can be used to collect the correspondence and present it to you, either into your existing systems, your existing workflows, or through a docketing dashboard that we offer. So manual docketing teams, when they're presented with this data, do not need to hunt for all the data, as all the relevant data is extractable and presentable for manual docketing. If you're interested in automated docketing, there are some systems that provide automated docketing with regard to portions of the docketing process, but generally not an end-to-end automated process. That would be like a second set of eyes review. I believe Black Hills is the only company that provides full docketing automation. So we're able to do that for you, but we can also deploy individual pieces of that, such as our automated verification process is able to operate regardless of who does the docketing. So our automated docketing can replace a vast majority of your manual docketing. And we're very interested in speaking with you about that, but also about how we can deploy Honu for you as a standalone. So excuse me for one minute. Okay, so databases. We have two docketing procedure databases and a mapping database. What we do for our automated docketing is we have even for our manual docketing, our manual docketing solution, we do this. But we have a database of normalized docketing procedures. And that is where we identify what correspondence has been received and what needs to be done with it in our own systems. We refer to that as a normalized docketing procedure. And then we have a database of firm-specific docketing procedures. Now, it would be what you have with the way that you want things done. And then what we do is we map between our normalized docketing procedures to your specific docketing procedures. And that enables us to docket directly into your system. Adam will talk more about that later. His terminology might be a little bit different than mine, but we're talking about the same thing. So we process correspondence by receiving the correspondence, data and documents to identify the appropriate normalized docketing procedure. And then we use that mapping to identify the normalized docketing procedure, or map the normalized docketing procedure to your firm-specific procedure. And then the combination, when correspondence is received, the combination of the normalized docketing procedure and the firm-specific procedure are executed in concert to output the documents and data in the normalized form, either to a dashboard for manual docketing entry. And on that, if we're using our dashboard, we provide you a recommendation on how an item should be docketed. That can enable your manual docketing team to do things more efficiently, more accurately, and more consistently across the entire team. And if a recommendation is made that is not a docketer disagrees with that recommendation, they're able to submit input so that the docketing procedure can be updated on our side once we verify, the accurate way to do that for your firm. So when we're doing automated docketing, the combination of the normalized docketing procedure and your firm-specific docketing procedure can be executed in concert to make the automated docketing entry directly in your system, or multiple entries depending on the type of correspondence being processed. So this is a high-level overview of our normalized docketing process, whether we're processing US correspondence or here we're processing foreign correspondence, and then how we can launch into the various different processes that we can perform for you, which includes automated office action response shell generation, which we can do, purely automated, and we provide that for free to our US docketing customers. Here's a detailed view of the processing of correspondence. The Honu process is right here. The correspondence is received via the portal. We then identify the appropriate docketing procedures, and then we flow directly into our other processes. It's similar to how we process the correspondence from the USPTO. This box, when we do it in the US, I have it represented as 4 boxes here. That's really basically the same as what it is here. But we process the documents, we verify the data that we receive with the documents to ensure that it's accurate, and then we identify the appropriate docketing procedures. That's what this is representing here. We download, in the US, we download the documents and associated XML data from the Patent Center with an automated process. We OCR the documents themselves, and then we verify that the data that comes with those documents from the USPTO is accurate. And if it's not accurate, we figure out what actually was received and what the actual data in the documents are. And we extract all of the relevant data, and we're able to identify the appropriate procedures and populate the appropriate dates and so on in your docketing system when we go from there. We do a very similar thing on foreign correspondence once we've received it from Honu. We use Honu provides a wizard-like adaptive interface to build a normalized data set as correspondence is received. The output from Honu is essentially the same as if we would have scraped it from a patent office. Let's see, we immediately provide the foreign agent upon submitting the correspondence. We provide them the receipt immediately, so they don't need to follow up with you to make sure that you received their email, which provides greater efficiency for your foreign firms that are submitting. So this is not just a one-way benefit where all the benefit is to you. The benefit is also to the foreign firm. Oops. Sorry, I skipped ahead a couple slides. Okay. So from here, the processing of the forward correspondence and the normalized data set proceeds the same as the USPTO. We validate the accuracy of the data received and we identify the proper docketing procedures. And if we're performing automated docketing, we then put it into your system and run the validation on the backside. If you're doing the docketing yourself, you go ahead and you do the docketing, and then if you like, we can do the data validation for you, and that second set of eyes review using the automated process. That's a pretty amazing process there. If you spend, say, 100% of your time reviewing 100% of your docketing entries, and you identify errors in maybe 2 or 3% of, or potential errors in 2 to 3% of the items that needs further review, 98% of that effort is essentially wasted looking at perfectly fine docketing entries. And so what we can do with our validation process, we call it docket saver. We identify those 2 to 3% of things where there are potentially errors, and we notify you of those, and your team can look at those, or our team can look at them. And the manual review of the 98% of perfectly fine docketing entries, is the manual review effort there is just entirely eliminated. And that's a very good process, a very cost-effective solution that we can implement usually within just a few weeks. So something to take into account. So now let's take a look at a demo of Honu. Elliott will show us this demo, and from there we'll just keep proceeding on in our webinar here. In the meantime, Elliott, why don't you go ahead and take control? And then in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to submit those. You can submit them in the chat or otherwise.
All right, getting into the demo here. Once you get an invite to Honu and accept that invite, this is the screen you will land on. This is what you will then use to submit items. So the first page here just guides you through the basic information that you would be filling out. This would be kind of like your subject line, if you were to think about it as an email equivalent. So you're selecting if it's a patent or a trademark, who you're reporting it to, what country, and then the docketing number of the recipient, in this case, test docketing. So we'll put in a test docket number here, and then it's going to retrieve some basic information about this. Will then pull back that, yes, this is indeed what it matched on, the filing date for this, the application number for this item, as well as any previous transactions that have been filed in Honu by your firm. You will be able to see on this screen. This will help make sure you've selected the right item, as well as ensure that, hey, maybe someone already submitted that item. Moving on to the next screen, this is when you start to get into the actual body of what you are submitting. You will get a drop down here of all the different categories and individual actions that you can submit. This will change slightly depending on whether or not it is a patent or a trademark, or in the country. For example, validations is an EP specific item. And then additionally, some of these items under here, like patent registration granted, will only show up for patent. And if you're at all confused as well, we do have an additional little chart here that can be used to help find with examples which item you should be selecting. So let's just select another reminder for now, and say this is a test, and it is due a month from now. These options as well will also vary depending on what you selected. So of course, the due date for the reminder will be maybe the due date from the PTO if you selected that option. Moving on to the next screen, because this thing did have an application number that is public on EP, we are able to grab that information and pull that in. So then you can select a document directly from the PTO and say, hey, this is the thing I am reporting, or I would like that to be included. Then you go to the next screen, it will pull that document in automatically. And if you want, you can also go in and attach your own files. This will also check. So if I upload this one, which was already uploaded, and I select that it is, say, an agent report letter, it will let you upload it same thing as anything else. Once you continue, this is then the last screen of data information. It will pull in the email recipients from the last transaction. So since this had already gone out, and if you are, generally speaking, a lot of the times you will continue to send correspondence to the attorney and the paralegal. Once you've done that once, it will automatically pull those emails in there. You can, of course, change that like you would. This is the subject line that will get pre-filled with the application number, docket number, and the action you selected. You can also change that. And then if you put in a body, you can do that however you want. And then the last screen here just gives you one last chance to review the information before you submit. And then after you are done with that, you can go in and submit that information. And you will get the success screen with the Honu turtle sliding in. This will then trigger sending the email. It'll automatically go into the rest of the automated process, and you will also get a receipt that you are able to download and view with all the information you submitted. I can also pull up the email here once I get it. Usually take a couple seconds. But that is Honu. And then once you start over, then you can continue going on your next item.
Okay, thanks, Elliott. I guess it's my time. John Collins here of Murgatroyd, speaking, ready to explain a little bit about how we use this at Murgatroyd and Co. Well, not just in the UK, but across our offices. Murgatroyd was an early adopter. We involved with Honu quite early on, and as soon as Honu was ready for us to start using and play with, we adopted this and started using around February of 2024. We found this as a very simple and intuitive interface. You've seen what the demo looks like. That is indeed what we see when we're uploading data to our US Instructing Counsel. The paralegals at Murgatroyd use Honu for reporting all official communications filed by Murgatroyd and received from the offices of the UK Intellectual Property Office, the EU IPO, the EPO, and WIPO for the various intellectual property assets that are received in those offices. We also have some, because of our offices in France, our relationship with regard to Hong Kong and the Netherlands, we also report on those as well. And therefore that provides us with a fairly global suite of countries that we can cover for providing information on what is received regarding those from the official offices and what we file at those offices in a simple manner. So what's our experience on how this has been working? We have really the process I've defined this in two ways, really. Simplicity. First of all, Honu replaces the traditional reporting emails that we used to send to US Counsel, which involved selecting and knowing who to select to report to, including the docketing email that most US Counsel use, that making sure, please, for docketing, they will say, make sure you send to this email. And if we forget that, we get slap on the wrist, of course. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. And but most of the, so the important thing is it avoids the necessity of knowing what the docketing email is. That's replaced. Honu provides the conduit straight into the docketing process, but also it allows for the informational side emails that go along with that to the various people that is typical that you want to send along with the pipeline to docket. And in our case, again, simplicity, we have a process whereby for the client, the US Instructing Counsel, we The paralegals have instructed the process is simply get it reported immediately. Don't wait for the responsible attorney at Murgatroyd. Unfortunately, us attorneys are notoriously bad at getting around to things. We do not want that delayed. So the office actions are reported out immediately, particularly obviously if it's something coming in, and we are notified ourselves by Honu. The paralegal doesn't need to actually send us a notification or have a separate process. We can simply add in to the reporting email, reporting Honu process rather than email for the Murgatroyd attorney. Instructing US counsel, paralegals may be required to be notified, for example, and others in certain situations where you are operating with US counsel and the ultimate client, typically maybe a large corporation, or indeed in some cases small clients, also want to be notified in a three-way sort of three-party communication. They can be added into the email report that can be generated and sent by Honu. So that really joins it all together and makes it easy for us. As you've seen from Elliott's demo, it's kind of him to actually run an EPO case. The EPO communications, as for the US system, Honu has managed to scrape the EPO official file and allows us to simply select a document to report. So this avoids us having to make sure that we report the correct document. So again, simplicity enables accurate selection, which leads us on, using that word accurate, to the next most important part of the process, which is sureness, being sure, accuracy. And Honu does that for us, as well as making it simple, by enabling us to select the client's reference, as you saw in the demo, to allow the process to start. And the paralegal then has the informational page, which allows them to check that they are reporting to the correct case. And not noted on the slide, as I reminded by Elliott's demo, we're also able to see previous submissions, or the paralegal is previous submissions, to make sure they're not sort of reporting it again and reporting obviously a new action that requires docketing. The selection of the EPO documents directly from the file greatly reduces, again, upload errors, picking the wrong document. I mentioned that with regard to the previous slide. Avoiding simply being able to select that means we don't have somebody picking the wrong document from the wrong place. Simple process and accurate. And most importantly as well, for us as a process, important part of that is the tracking and automated receipt generation by Honu, which is really important. It enables us to save the record of that to our records as a confirmational report that this action was taken, so that indeed we have that assurance that this operation was carried out properly, and indeed there's obviously an audit trail in our file for what was done. So as those are really the keeping it short, the sweet. Our experience is simply the Honu process has streamlined things. It's made things simple and sure, and we have very much enjoyed using it. It's much easier than the old email system. Absolutely.
Thanks, John. I appreciate your kind words about the Honu process and working with Black Hills AI. We'll talk now about the Honu workflow briefly, and then we will go to Adam, and Adam will tell us about the auto docketing process. So on the Honu workflow, this is an image here that illustrates things that flow through Honu and those that don't. What gets reported through Honu with new applications are, acknowledgement requests to file new patent applications, confirmations of filing of an application, requests for documents needed for filing of an application, different things that actually require the tracking of dates, right? And the things that need to be done to effectuate a filing, an order, and associated documents for filing. Also, once the application has been filed, you send the official filing receipt through Honu. On prosecution, you would report things such as publication of the application, request for examination, different things that you filed at the office, the relevant office, and reporting of items such as interviews, official actions, and so on. Things that will trigger a docketing date or the crossing off of a docket date. Send those through Honu. Things that don't get sent through Honu are things such as non-docketing events, preliminary reports of an action taken, such as, hey, okay, I got that, I'm going to file it, right? Don't send it through there. Questions or advice directed to attorneys or paralegals, things that do not directly impact the file, something that you would docket from or de-docket from. So as a foreign docket document comes in and needs reporting, does the document require docketing? And if it's yes, you send it through Honu. I guess you could put on here de-docketing as well, right? But and if the answer is no, that it doesn't require docketing or de-docketing, you send it through conventional email. And sometimes that takes a little bit of while, you know, for a firm to get used to, but it comes online fairly quickly, and the efficiency is quickly obtainable. So now let's talk about auto docketing. Adam.
Thanks, Jim. So as Jim was saying earlier, Honu is really adding structure to unstructured communications. That's the crux of it, although it does more than that as well. And the goal there is to reduce the noise of traditional reporting methods. Most organizations are sending email correspondence for these docketing events or de-docketing events, which works well enough if you're a person looking at them. But when you start to consider the tasks of docketing from a automation perspective, the limits of that email format can become apparent. So what I want to do here is look at the kind of broad tasks when it comes to processing communications as they relate to docketing automation. First up, we have identifying the relevant matter data, which is critical for ensuring you are looking at the whole picture of the docket state, as well as docketing into the correct manner. Generally, with an email communication, that's going to be included in the subject line, and you'll need some way to extract it. Honu makes that even simpler by capturing that matter data at the outset. So country, application number, file type, that's all entered right away, which can then feed as key value pairs into your system for automation. The next thing you need to do is look at the group of documents you've received. Typically a docketing or de-docketing communication will include more than one document. And you need to determine of those documents which of them are actionable, which ones relate to the docketing events. So these can be, the official PTO communication, a file response. Sometimes you've got references attached, an agent letter. Honu will break that down into types of documents, as you saw in Elliott's demo. And those types of documents can greatly simplify the next step, which is classifying these documents. You don't just need to know what type of document it is. You need to know what is this document exactly and what do we need to do with it in our system. And there's a set of possible document identifications that could be applied for any of these types. You're going to use some basic heuristics likely to narrow that set down into a more approachable task. So you're thinking of the matter data from step 1, for country and file type. You're looking at the types from step 2 for what type of document it is. Is it something filed in the patent office? Is it something received from the patent office? And then using those heuristics, you've narrowed your set of potential identifications. At that point, you need an algorithm for selecting the highest probability classification of from that set. And you need to be able to select with high precision due to the critical nature of docketing and de-docketing dates. Some of that can be inferred from the description that's entered in Honu or the document file name. But we find it's best to treat those as additional data points rather than ground truths. And finally, there is, you know what matter you're docketing into, you know what the documents are representing. So then you need to enter the relevant data. And that can be a mail date or a due date, depending on your system. Maybe you're tracking instructions deadlines on your docket. Maybe they're bibliographic updates. Honu is going to provide that to you as key value pairs to easily plug in wherever you need them. So in short, Honu is categorizing communications, identifying the matter info, demarcating auxiliary documents, and it's setting up these values you need, adding this structure that turns a very complex problem into a more manageable one for automation. Thanks, Jim. That's all from me.
Thanks, Adam. So let's talk briefly about adoption and how this has been adopted by Foreign Counsel. And then maybe we'll talk about vision for the future. And then we can wrap it up with answering any questions you might have. Again, you can submit questions via the Q&A functionality of Zoom, and we will answer those here in just a few moments. So as far as adoption, we've already sent out invites to 264 firms outside of the United States. Of those firms, 195 have accepted them. 59 of those invites that have not been accepted, though, have been sent out just recently. So that is a very high adoption rate. Virtually all of the firms that have accepted have already submitted documents via the Honu portal. So the acceptance and adoption rate of Honu by foreign firms is quite high. And the number of Honu users is now up to 637, which, the firms that have signed up, they have multiple users that will submit things. So adoption is fairly easy. It provides great efficiency. And the question might be well, we already, if we ask these foreign firms to do this for us, are they going to charge us more? And from what I've seen is no foreign firms have chosen to charge more to submit items through Honu. This is a process that replaces the reporting that they would already be doing via email, but instead it comes through Honu. So the amount of work that's needed is the same and often less, as John mentioned. For example, in the EP, documents that are publicly available documents, we will scrape the documents from the EPO even before the firms go in to report them, such that when they do go in to report them through Honu, we already have the documents, and we just have them confirm that, yep, that's what they're reporting, and then we go ahead and submit it, and essentially their work is pretty much done. It's a much easier process than having to upload the documents even. We eliminate various steps in that process due to our scraping and the automation that we bring to bear. So foreign firms are readily adopting this. They're not charging US firms more to perform this service, and it enables you to receive more accurate, more timely correspondence data from which you can automate and perform more accurate docketing And the whole sum total of this is that you can operate your back office using Honu and automation from Black Hills AI in a much more efficient, accurate, and cost-effective manner. So with that being said, I don't see any questions so far, and we'll wait a few minutes here if there's any questions. And absent any questions, or if you choose to drop off before there's answers to any questions, why don't you, or I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels and an enjoyable time with your family this week. That is all I'm seeing for questions. So I want to say thank you to our panelists. I want to say thank you to Adam Reece, Elliott Higgins, and I want to thank Dr. John Collins for joining in his evening over there in the UK. It's approaching, I believe, what is it, about 6:45 p.m. In the UK right now. So thank you, John, and all of the others. Everybody have a great day. Take care.